What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back to Omar BYT, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome, guys, to the match preview of the UEFA Champions League semi-final first leg, guys. I can't believe I'm actually saying this, guys. I never thought, right, this season, right, at the start of the season, if you told me I would be doing a preview for the semi-finals of the Champions League, guys, I'll tell you that you're kidding. But we are here, guys. We are here for the match preview of the first leg between Barcelona and Inter Milan in the Montjuïc Stadium, guys. I'm sure I butchered it. I do not care, guys. But this is the match preview of the game. Obviously, as Barca fans, we are going into this game as in very high spirits, guys. We've just won our second trophy of the season, beating our biggest rivals, guys. The spirits from the club to the players to the fans is on a high, and you know what, guys, it will go to another level if we can win this Champions League. But we have to start here. We have to start here because this game against Inter, it's not going to be easy. We know how Inter are going to set up against us, and we're definitely going to have to make sure that in this first leg we do our job. But before we get started, guys, make sure you guys smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and let's go. Now, ladies and gentlemen, obviously this is a huge game on Wednesday. On Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen, we are playing Inter Milan at home in the first leg. Now, obviously, both of these teams have been relatively great in the Champions League. Obviously, we both of us have barely lost games. We've only lost 2 games this season in the Champions League. They've only lost 1. And truth be told, it's basically a match between 2 different philosophies. Now, we know Barcelona are very intent on going forward and attacking football, and Inter Milan are the opposite. They are defensively structured kind of football. And obviously, Barca versus Inter semi-finals, it brings back a lot of memories for someone like me who's been a Barca fan for as long as I have. Obviously, when you think about this tie and you think of the Champions League, you always remember in the 2010s, Pep Guardiola and Mourinho. Obviously, we are way gone past that. But to be fair, both of these teams are still very strong. And as far as both teams are concerned, they're coming, you know, if you look at the form-wise, form will say that we are the favorites. Obviously, we are, right? Because we are the home team. And form-wise, we are the favorites as well. But we should not underestimate these guys. But as far as we're concerned on Barcelona, and as far as our team coming into this game is concerned, Barcelona are going into this game in high spirits, like I mentioned, guys. We've just won the Copa del Rey in a very high intense game against Real Madrid, a game that went to 120 minutes, and in the end we won the trophy, guys. We are on fire right now in the form, you know, as far as form is concerned. We've won our last 3 games, right? We beat Mallorca in the league before the cup final and beat Celta de Vigo in a comeback, right? So look, I'm gonna be very real. We should get the job done in this first leg. Not easily, but we should. But if you look at the squad, you look up the players that we're missing, obviously, key-wise, you've got Lewandowski, who's out. He's out for this tie, and he's been integral in our run in the Champions League. You look at guys like Alejandro Balde in the left-back position, especially when you look at the fact that we have players like Gerard Martin, who are the replacements. I don't rate Gerard Martin. I think Hector Ford does a better job in that position. But Alejandro Balde is our key left back, and he's been very key to the team this season, and we're definitely going to be missing them. Midfield looks fine. Really, apart from that, there's not really any big, terrible injuries to think of. But if you look at the form, we are in good form, and form should say that as Barca fans, I should be confident going into this game, considering the fact that Inter are now really looking good. Inter have had an incredibly terrible week. Like, their week has been awful. Like, you think about it, they literally lost yesterday against Roma, which is their 3rd defeat in a row. which is, I think, their worst run of the season so far. I don't think they've had like a 3-game unbeaten, 3 games without winning. It's incredible, right? They lost to Roma yesterday at home. Before that, they lost 3-0 in the Milan derby in the semifinals of the Coppa Italia second leg. And to make it worse, they lost their last league game before that against Bologna thanks to a late goal. And as a result, they've let Napoli come back into the title race. So they are in deep, deep, deep trouble right now in their league. And form-wise, they're not coming into this game in any good form. And to pile into their misery, they have 2 key players missing in this game, just like us. In Marcus Thuram, who we know has been great with his partnership with Lautaro Martinez, and is going to be a huge loss in this game. And to make it worse, they've just lost Benjamin Pavard in the game yesterday against Roma, who was integral in their win against Bayern, especially in that second leg. So they have a lot of problems in their team. They have a lot of issues. They're not in good form, and it's really deflating for them right now. But if I'm going to be very honest, despite the fact that they're not in good form, I'm not counting them out. They are not going to come into the Barca game against us trying to play football. We know that Inzaghi is going to come into this game. He's going to set up, be completely compact in the midfield and in the defense. They're just coming into this game hoping to get a draw, or at the very least, if they're going to lose, maybe lose by a goal. That's what they're going to try to do. So we're definitely going to get frustrated. They're definitely going to put us under pressure, especially, like I mentioned, considering their form. They're definitely going to be more defensively cautious when they play against us, considering the form that we're in. So I truly do believe that it's going to be very, very hard on us still, despite the fact that they're in bad form. But we'll see what happens. Now, as far as lineups is concerned, obviously, I'm making this video in the early hours of the morning here in the US, and I hopefully hope that there is no big news that comes out by the time I make this video. However, the good news is, and the worry was, especially watching the game between Barca and Madrid, was Dani Olmo injured, because he was taken off very early during the game. But so far, we haven't heard anything, and I'm hoping that it stays that way, because as far as my lineup is concerned, I think he's going to be key in this game. He's the one that I'm picking out of the entire bunch to help us get this win, because I think that with the way they're compact, we're going to need him to be the one to unlock their defense and basically make the good passes or make the good runs into the box and connect with guys like Yamal and Rafinha and Ferran Torres in the attack. But as far as my prediction, as far as lineups is concerned, I'm going to go some few changes in the team. I think there will be some changes. I'm going to go Szczesny in goal, which will be staying. I think we're potentially going to see Araujo start in this game, because Inigo started alongside Kobashi. I think we're going to see Araujo start in this one. I can see him starting in the defense alongside potentially Kobashi. I think we're going to see Araujo and Kobashi. We're going to see Jules Koundé, who is coming on a high after being the hero in the last game. He will be playing in this game. I think, and this is the one that and this is the wild card I'm going to use, I'm going to say Hector Ford is probably going to start this game. I think Gerard Martin played, I think he played most of the game, or I think all of the game against Real Madrid. So I'm expecting him to potentially get rested. Now, I'm going to say this is highly unlikely. Hansi Flick might decide to play him, but don't be surprised if you guys see Hector Ford get a starting position in this game. Midfield, De Jong. I expect to see De Jong. Maybe Garcia might play. I don't think so. I think he's probably still gonna play De Jong in this game against Inter, and maybe rest him in the in the weekend game against Valladolid. Pedri will be his partner because he was substituted early in the game against Real Madrid. So I'm expecting to see him, and they will be partnered by Dani Olmo in the midfield in the 10 area. Attack speak for itself. I'm going to go Yamal on the right, Rafinha on the left, and Ferran Torres in the middle. And hopefully that squad will be good enough. That is our best squad right now as far as all the players who are available is concerned. That is the best team we're going to pull out in that game. And as far as my prediction scoreline is concerned, I've already said I want a 3-0. I want a comfortable win so that we can go to the second leg with a level of comfortability as fans. Will that happen? I don't know. I'm not going to put my neck on the line and say that. I think it's more likely that we're probably going to see a 2-1 or potentially a 3-1 Barcelona. But tell me what you guys are saying in the comments section below. Make sure you guys smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, ladies and gentlemen. And like I always say whenever I end these streams, guys, Visca el Barça, Visca el Catalonia. And peace, you guys. Take care. And don't forget, guys, put your predictions in the comments section below because I always read your messages, guys. Big up.